Barry Hettrick's my name. I'm retired now. I've been playing with the financial market since 2001. Not very successfully, really. Originally started with a friend that was involved in the share market, and we started trading warrants. I don't know if anybody knows what a warrant is, but it's like an option that's been issued by a broker, and like an option, they have a expiry built into them, and we didn't know what we were doing. And consequently, I lost almost the whole account, which is a bad experience when you've come first into the market. I'm pretty sure everybody's done that sort of thing. But that sort of put me very wary of manual trading from then on. Became involved with an interest group that met on the weekends every month, and traded sort of ideas and systems, and none of those really worked out to be anything great. Hence tried to get into the Algos, automatic trading, the robots, etc. Very difficult to automate. There was very little software around for automation. You had to be conversant in whatever language the MetaTrader in those days was using. It's still the same language actually, but it was rather difficult. Hence, it's become a lot easier with TradeViewX. It's made it a lot easier to program. And that's one of the reasons I got involved with TradeViewX, because they made it a lot easier to write your own algos. That's a good question. I've pondered that myself. I think it was internet searching for software to write algos. I'm pretty sure that's how I found it. I think everybody searches internet nowadays for things. Well, it's more of a professional group. There are lots of like solos out there, guys, or there still is on the internet, claiming how good their systems were and their trading rooms, that sort of thing. But Rob had staff. He had a number of people at that stage. I think it was only about 4 or 5 in the earlier days. And he came from a professional background, which a lot of these other guys haven't. So that's what interested me. It seemed to be a far more professional group, more experienced in actual trading. Yeah, just about all of them except for last year, with the the virus sort of thing being an online conference. But I enjoy coming down to Melbourne and meeting everybody, and trading some ideas, getting algos built. And yes, I have in-house training. Yes, I've been down there for that before. Yes, it's very good. Originally, it was a 2-day thing, which I thought was good. But now they went through a bit of theory and that sort of thing beforehand on the first day. But now it's only a single day, but you get stuck into it straight away, so which is good. So bring your ideas. My current system is a reversion to the mean. I don't really have a trend trading system, so I'm hoping to build a trend trading system to complement the mean reversion. Because I don't know if you would know what a mean reversion is, but a lot of people wouldn't. Where it's where it retraces back to previous prices and goes on again, but a trending just keeps on going. I hadn't ever been much of a fan of portfolios in the past, because unless you're on a longer time frame, it is difficult to follow and keep track of, complex. So you really got to go a bit longer time frame. But I really only trade short time frames. I'm 69 now, I don't have 10 or 15 years to wait to make 100% on my portfolio, you might say. I want to achieve, financial independence a bit sooner than that. Well, there are a lot more indicators nowadays that I didn't have back in the early days. In the early days, it was very basic. I think probably only 20 or 30 indicators back then, and there's still the same ones around now, but there are so many more nowadays that are more sophisticated and follow the markets a lot better than what they used to. There was the old moving average crossover in those days, which still is floating around the place. That was about the only thing that was really, common knowledge. But I've got a very good indicator now. At the moment, I'm even down to trading 1 minute charts, 1 minute and 5 minute charts. The markets move a lot quicker nowadays than what they did back in the 2001, 2002. They were somewhat slower, and you didn't have 1 minute or 5 minute charts then actually either. You basically daily charts, that sort of thing. So the system I've got at the moment, is quite good, but it is a problem. You still got to do it partially manually. That's why I want to try and get it into an algo. Currently, at the moment, you've got to sit here and wait for the market to do its thing, and when you get the setup, that's when you've got to jump in. Now, that could be any time of the day, really. The Asian session is when I use the 1 minute charts, and the European session is when I look at 5 minute charts, because they tend to move more. It changes all the time, and that's another problem too with looking at the markets. They do change. You could call them algos in the past, where you back test and it looks good, you apply it and it looks good for a week, and then it falls over because the markets change. Just Forex, only Forex. I got burnt on shares, and it's such a manipulated market. I'm not interested in them anymore. And the indices look, they're manipulated too, but it's a fairly constant sort of markets. They always go up usually. Currently, I'm just looking at Aussie US and pound US. I was looking at some of the more volatile ones, but there is a problem that most people aren't aware of with the cross rates. They're actually just a mathematical representation of the underlying. A lot of people use support and resistance and that sort of thing on them, which is just a carryover from the share market. I don't know if they realise that, but it doesn't really work all that well. It's like using a horse and buggy, whereas today you need to use a Ferrari to keep up with the markets and to make a reasonable return. Well, it takes the pressure off you. As I said before, you've got to sit here and wait for your setup. You might get alerts and that sort of thing, but then you've got to make a decision. Now, that's fine if you're a really good decision maker, but I'm not that good a decision maker. You look into the charts, and is it going to do this? Is it going to do that? Instead of sticking to your plan and taking the trade, it's where the rubber meets the road. Whereas automation will do that for you. Now, provided your system works in the long term, you let it go. But that's the main advantage of automation. You don't have to make the decision in that minute, 5 minutes, or whatever time frame you might be in. It will make it for you, right or wrong, and you've just got to monitor it maybe then, or not monitor it at all. Depends on your system. Confidence is everything in trading. It is absolutely the key to trading. If you don't have confidence in the system, you won't trade it properly. That's where automation comes in. It will trade it properly, according to how you've programmed it, of course. Look at another chart. I'll look at the hour chart, or the 4 hour, or the weekly, or something like that. There's none of that unless you've programmed it in. The exposure to different ideas. We tend to have our own ideas. We get a bit, sort of like on a railroad track and trying to keep going down the same ideas, unless you're one of those that hop, skip and a jump to everything. And that's the problem. You try this for a week, or try that for a week or month or whatever, it doesn't work. But you get exposed to, the professional guys, what they're actually using. And it could be totally different to what you've seen or thought of. So this exposure is a really good idea. It can give you so many more ideas to follow. Maybe you miss something that you can add to your own system or send you down a different path altogether. But they're professionals, so they are, and they've been doing this for years as well, and successfully, most of them. Yeah, for sure. Well, start small. I think that's the important thing. Money matters to all of us, of course. And money can matter more to some than others. It all depends on how much you've got. But start small. Look at automation for sure, because that takes the pressure off. And even if you're losing, it can be only small amounts. To build that confidence, you've got to build that confidence. That's the thing. Try a few ideas, see how they work. But start small, and if stick to your plan, absolutely, or get the robot to stick to your plan, your Algo. Yeah, it takes other people's ideas as well. But I wouldn't think fishing on the internet nowadays it would be a profitable thing. There are so many out there, and so many systems, and while they may look good for what they show you, you've got to try it yourself, and you've got to back test. Get involved with some professionals if you can, in trade view. Somebody who's got some track record, somebody who's actually got some money on the line, and that's proven to be profitable.